Now shut up. The show's starting.
Hey, everybody. Guess what? It's me, your favorite hostess. And it's time once again for That's Estertainment, Mercury Retrograde edition with my fabulous guest. Oh, my God. My guest today, I have known, God, I think he'll probably have the years down when I bring him on. But hold on. There I am. Hey, everybody. My guest today is fabulous. We've known each other for so many years. And let me tell you something. What a wacky morning this has been with Mercury Retrograde. Let's see. Twitter just went down. Facebook went down. What's up? But luckily, YouTube is still going. But anyway, what I want to do right now is introduce to you my friend, psychic intuitive medium, one of the best in the business. If you've noticed, I've had the best in the business on my show lately, and he's another one. Please welcome, would you, Mr. Lewis Mabee. Hey, Lewis.
Hey, Esther. How's it going?
I'm doing good. I'm just rocking.
I miss your face.
Okay, let me see. I'm going to bring this down. So how's everything up in Canada today?
Foggy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just like the internet.
Just like the internet, exactly. Welcome to Mercury Retrograde.
I mean, is that unbelievable? Let's go over here and see. Oh, people are checking in. Hold on, Lauren. We go here. I got to bring this over here so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Hey, everybody. Let's see. There's hi, Angela. How are you? Let's see. Then there's Nikki. My Instagram is acting up because your Instagram is up right now. It's not
working.
Let's see. Is this another one of your friends?
Rhonda,
there's Rhonda. Let's see. There's Richard from Kitchener.
From Kitchener, Richard.
Is that another friend of yours?
Another friend.
Oh, there's so many fun people. And I think, let me see, what's her name? From where the hell is Deborah Tatel? There she is.
She's a spirit, yeah.
Yeah, she's got a witch's hat on there. Lewis, how long have we known each other?
11, 12 years? If not more.
You know, you all want to know how we met? Lewis, being a psychic medium and can see things. This is another proof that sometimes psychic mediums can't read for themselves. Lewis used to message Esther and didn't know that Esther and Michael were the same person. You know, when I'm not wearing this, I'm Michael and I talk like this, but I'm like this.
Because I followed you on Facebook,
right,
as Esther. I didn't even know anything about Michael,
right.
And back then, and I think I even said this in my original text, I had a dream about Esther, and I never ever reach out to people psychically, like not random. And there's Georgia from Greece, from beautiful Greece, and so I had this dream about Esther and what Esther was going to be doing, something about the red carpet. And Esther, immediately responded to me, but then came back as Michael.
Get out.
And that's how we connected with friendship.
Right.
And the red carpet thing came true that year because you went on to was it the Golden Globes or the Oscars?
Academy Awards, the Oscars.
The Oscars.
Because you came with me to the Tonys once, remember?
I came with you to the Tonys, yep. Yeah. That's when I met Mickey Rooney. He spat on me because he was talking, because this was the year before he died.
Well, he died 2 months later.
Yes, you're right. And then Ruta Lee and Lonnie Anderson.
Oh, that's right. All of them were there.
All of them were there for the West Coast Emmys, yeah.
Right. Tonys, West Coast
Tonys, right.
Those Tony people get all pissy. So
Richard
is saying the quality is bad. Everybody who's in here right now, tell me if the quality is okay. It might have a lot to do with the internet, because the whole internet is going wacko dinghoy today. But I called Lewis and said, Lewis, you realize Mercury is really doing a humdinger on us today. Mm-hmm. and let's see what happens.
And because Mercury is in retrograde, and it's in retrograde with Libra is all about love, relationships, communication. So doesn't surprise me that the internet went down, because we have this love for this social media.
So I was talking to Lewis earlier before we went on to the show, just to let you know about the Mercury retrograde and the craziness, because Okay, for instance, last night on 60 Minutes, I don't know how many of you all watched 60 Minutes. They had this entire thing about the Facebook whistleblower. And it's just interesting that this woman brings out all this crap about how Facebook is instigating hate. They're making profit off the hate in the discourse. And then this happened yesterday, broke news yesterday. And then she was on the morning shows like the Today Show and stuff today. And right in the middle of her interview, Facebook thing goes out.
The owner of Facebook does not have a soul, just an FYI.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Georgia just said, grateful that YouTube is okay and we can tune into you both. Yes.
Hey.
If you were straight on the YouTube channel, you can see it. So Georgia, is everything cool in Greece? Are we coming in crystal clear?
She's in Corinth, ancient Corinth.
Sounds good to me. I just think, Robert, you just might have some weird things going on. Hey, Ola Billy, is this a friend of yours? Ola Billy? I have no idea. Read me, please. We're not doing readings today. Everything's crystal clear. Cool. So this is really important. The wonderful thing about this show is that you'll be able to watch it later. So Lewis,
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Today's show, one of the things I love to do with psychic mediums when they come on the show is not about people calling in and going, hey, should I buy eggs today? No. What I like to do is I like to find out what made them tick, what started everything. And Lewis, if I remember correctly, I remember reading that as a little boy, we all go, how did you know that you had the gift?
Yep.
Because you also do astrology and you're a psychic as well, or no?
No, I don't do astrology, understand astrology, but by no means would I be an astrologer. But I do have enough, I guess, knowledge to get me by.
Right.
Yeah. But
so tell me. Yeah. So what happened? Were you like sitting in the cradle one day and all of a sudden vision came to you next to your bat rattle? What? How did you know?
I was about 3-ish, maybe 4, and I was woken up by something in the middle of the night, my little bed, and there was this woman sitting on my bed, and I wasn't. I remember this so clearly. I wasn't surprised or shocked.
Mm-hmm.
I was more fascinated with, and she was smiling, and she was very beautiful, glowing, translucent kind of skin. But I was fascinated because I could put my hand through her body. And she was just kept smiling. And then when I was like, okay, what's going on here? She started to explain how my life was going to unfold in regards to, I'll be seeing things people won't see. I'll be hearing things people won't hear. I'll be able to do this and that. She told me that. She laid out my life
at 4 years old.
Yes, but she
together a Fisher Price fucking toy.
I know. I couldn't even get a drink or drive.
Right.
But it was just something where I was like, she was giving me the information, but I didn't need to process it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, sure, yeah, And then she disappeared after a while, and I went back to sleep, kind of thing. And then later on, about when I was 8 or 9, I was watching television with my mom, and there was this gentleman who was reading people and giving predictions and all that sort of thing. Right. And I go to my mom, wow, that'd be so cool to be able to do that. And she looks at me, she goes, you've been doing this already. I'm like, what do you mean? And then she started to explain, I'd walk by the phone and and I'd, grandpa's calling, and my grandfather would call, or so-and-so is going to show up for dinner, set extra plates, and so-and-so would just show up randomly out of the blue. Right. So I remember there was a woman who was a mother-in-law to one of my aunts, and she passed away, but I didn't know that. But the night before she passed away, I said to my mom, this woman, Pat was her name. I said, Pat's dying. And she goes, okay. And then the next day we found out that Pat passed away because Pat came into my bedroom and walked through my closet. And that's oftentimes how I know with certain people that they're going to be in their end of life journey, is that they come to me and they walk through a wall. Another way that I get death is green smog over their head. Well, when I first started seeing death, I would get faces would melt in front of me, like wax, like hot wax. Their face would just melt. And that was too scary for me. So I said, if you want me to see this, then you got to give me a different kind of way of getting this information.
Wow.
So now I see green smog. So the denser the green smog is around their head, I know the closer they are to their end of life journey. So.
And you said sometimes they walk through the wall. Is that?
Yeah, they walk through the wall.
Happen after they've died? Is that their spirit
before?
So
and they usually will wave.
And that means like they died within seconds?
Within the next day. Yep. Within 24 hours.
Oh, so that's because of some. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So are those people that? What about people? Okay, here you go. Is it quite? Because I have to ask this. So
yeah.
So those are terminally ill people who have. Has this ever happened to you with not terminally ill people, but somebody who actually like got murdered, or somebody who instantly died in a plane crash or a car crash? Well, I mean, did they the day before? Did they walk through, or did you just know something weird was going to happen?
There was one incident. I do work with the police quite a bit,
right?
And there was one incident that there was a woman murdered. In the city I was living in at the time. And she came to me after she passed away, and she says, "You're going to help find my killer."
Wow.
And then I think maybe a couple weeks after that message,
right.
The police contacted me and asked me to work with them to locate or to find the killer. And I did. Now, and they often and there was another case actually in Toronto years and years and years ago, where this gentleman who went on a killing spree in Toronto, and he would chop up his victims and put them in plastic bags and disperse them throughout the city. Anyway, the police came to me about that, and one of the victims came to me and showed me where he was living, but I couldn't see. There was 4 digits on the building, but I couldn't see the 3rd digit. And I'm like, it's this blank this, and I said, and I described it was like in the back, like a little alley, and then there was like this house kind of complex thing. Anyway, they did some research. They finally caught him, and in the video on the news, the way that they were filming the front entrance, there was a pillar that blocked the 3rd digit. And that's why I couldn't see that 3rd digit.
Wow. That is so wild. And then what was so that's 8, 9 years old. What were your teenage years like? I know there was in your bio, I was reading something about you were around 17 years old, and you had some type of illness that came over you. And what happened? So
during 12 to 16, 17, it was kind of like shut down because I was during puberty, everything else in life. But then 17, I started to get this huge download, and it wore me out. My mom took me to doctors. I had so much blood drawn from me to do tests. Nothing came back. And it was just basically because I was waking up. And once and again, I remembered that angel, whose name was Sylvia, by the way. No, she didn't come back. But she's always been with me. So she never made another appearance like she did before. But I remember what she said: "Don't worry, you'll be fine." So I'm like, okay. And I was like, I probably was in bed for over a month. Missed so much school. They passed me anyway.
That's Go ahead.
No, and it's just and one day, it wasn't like one day I just got up and started doing cartwheels. But one day I just felt better. And then all of a sudden it was like going on mushrooms, and everything was like crystallizing, like everything was like vivid colors, and then it's like when you wake up from a really deep sleep and you're groggy and you're not focused with your
Right.
eyesight yet.
Right.
It just, once
Like,
the focus was there, it was like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden the voices started again.
right.
And I'm like, okay, well, they're a little bit intense for me. So how am I supposed to control this and still live my human life?
Right.
And so I kind of like decided to use it like a light switch that has a dimmer. So
you learn how to turn it on and off.
Right. So it's never off.
Right.
The only time that they're actually quiet, and this is our agreement, is when I shower. For 10 minutes of my day, complete silence. I get to organize my thoughts, my day, whatever. As soon as the curtain gets pulled back, blah, 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 again, but I dim it. So it's kind of like background noise all the time. And when I do readings and connect psychically to people, it gets turned full up. So
you haven't seen Sylvia since you were 4?
No, I haven't seen her like in the apparition that she came in. But she is what I call my main guide. And so she's always with me, but she doesn't need to make an appearance.
Gotcha. So okay, so it's like, okay, for instance, like I was at a party, birthday party when I was in LA the last time, and my friend Tashi has what he called Witchy Wednesday, where people come over. It's like psychics and astrologers. Everybody just hangs out. It's just it's chill. And so Sylvia is your spirit that kind of looks over you and takes care of you. It's like for instance, they told me, Esther, you have an amazing spirit that protects your ass. And so Sylvia is your sort of like little angel, that the spirit angel, I guess. Are they angels or spirits?
They're both.
It's whatever you want to call them.
Right.
By the way, just want to say a shout out. Let's see, Art from Brazil. We've got Greece. We've got Angela from New Zealand. People from all over the world are tuning in today. This is awesome. Thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. And this is Lewis Mabee, psychic medium, intuitive, who is a good friend of mine. And let me tell you something. Y'all never experienced nothing until you've had margaritas with Lewis at a restaurant, picking up shit from all over the restaurant. Sometimes when he would visit, I just take him out and send him a couple of shots just so I could watch him start reading it. I know, like Georgia. Is it Georgia? Yeah, Georgia. I'm sure in Greece, a couple of sambucas. Have you ever fed Lewis?
I hate sambuca.
Well, you know what I mean. I'm sure they Uzo. You like Uzo? So I'm sure. Oh wow! But you know what I mean.
Yep.
But you start picking up stuff from all over, which tickles the hell out of me, because I'm like, what are they thinking? What are they? That cute guy over there, is he looking at me? And usually Lewis goes, no. And so I go back to eating a Dorito chip. But so tell me something. So how long do you work? Do you ever work with people outside of law enforcement in like the United States, or is it just in Canada?
Just in Canada, as far as law enforcement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Art, what's happening is WhatsApp is down, Facebook is down, Instagram is down. They're all down.
All owned by the same person.
All owned by Zuckerberg. And but anyway, so they're down. Oh, hold on. What did Georgia just say? Uzo
or I'm gonna say it wrong. It's Sapuro.
Sapuro. I can say that. I just spit all over the microphone. It is what it is. So okay. So, have you ever read somebody and had a reading with them that you just couldn't read them? That not that there was just, they were so negative that it was like, Satan. I mean, people call it Satan. I just call it evil negative.
Yeah.
Stuff,
no, I did have one person that I couldn't read because his walls were so thick from his childhood.
Right.
But what I did was I read through his wife.
Right.
Who wasn't even there.
What?
I said, what's your wife's name? And I just tuned into her energy, and I was able to read him through her energy.
Because he had the walls up. But I mean, have you ever had anything, not like a wall, but have you ever had anybody that was evil? that you just didn't
Not
want?
as a reading. I also do energy balancing for homes and stuff like that.
Oh, explain
And
that. Is that like getting rid of a ghost and shit?
basically,
Oh,
or yeah. So I was in St. Thomas, Ontario, near London, Ontario,
right.
and there was this evil um, uh,
And
ghost,
or
that
ghost.
entity that was scaring the shit out of children. And the reason why that was happening was when he was alive, he was the banker of the town. And what he had was this weird obsession with kidnapping and molesting children.
What?
Yes.
I was going to say it's like A Wonderful Life. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Not that guy.
And then he got to a point of his sadistic where, and this part was actually known, that he would hang the children after that he was done molesting them. He would hang the children from the railroad tracks
Hang
and
them.
let them
They
swing
were still alive.
because there was a part in St. Thomas where the railroad tracks goes over a gully.
Were they
So
dead or were they just?
they were dead.
Oh, he molested them and then killed them.
Yes.
Oh,
And so I was brought in to send the children that were trapped
right.
earthbound to go to the other side. And what he was trying to do, like he actually, and like there was a crowd, because this was funded by some sort of organization. But anyway, the crowd actually saw my hair, the back of my hair, go straight back as I was being pulled backwards, but yet there was no physical person doing that. And it was him that was trying to not let me do my thing. So because he wanted to keep the children there so he could keep on tormenting them, the children's spirit.
Right.
So he keep on tormenting them. But I was able to release them and him from the earthbound realm. And it was like all of a sudden you could just feel this coolness come over after everyone was gone back to spirit. And it was like there was this peaceful feeling that just came over everyone.
So it's almost like, do you ever sage yourself? I mean, you know,
you know what? Every single day when I do readings, I burn a specific incense. And when I feel like the need, I sage and my condo, my personal self, and all that sort of thing. Offices.
wow. Well, George is over in Greece and it's like 12:20 at midnight, past 20 minutes past midnight in Greece right now. She's there. And she said, Lewis, tell them about how you can tune into people anywhere in the world and how you can do that. And I mean, is that how it works? Like when you Skype with clients, people want to have a reading and is that it?
A lot of people, I've done reading for people in 26 now, different countries. And I've never met them in person. And it's energy. Energy is energy. Energy doesn't have any boundaries. It's not worried about walking through walls or anything else like that. Energy exists. And I pick up on the vibration of energy. So when different sectors of your life, relationship, romance, family, career, all that sort of thing has different vibrations. And I'm able to read the vibrations so that I can basically put it into words to have it make sense for the person I'm reading for.
Right.
So you don't have to be here. You don't have to be in front of me for it to be more effective. It is as effective. In fact, I've met Georgia a few times because she has roots in Canada, but Georgia's lived in the United States and now she lives in Greece. And
is Georgia who you visit when you go to Greece?
She's no, because the last time I was in Greece, she wasn't there yet. But there's another person, Leo, who I do visit in Greece and Corfu. Right. But I've done more sessions with Georgia through Zoom than in person. Right. Exactly. No time, no space. It just flows. The energy flows, and I'm able to watch the energy and translate that energy into words for people in their lives to make it sense for them.
Which is, it's like they always say, energy never dies.
Exactly.
So when our bodies, the energy inside our bodies leave, whether it's through an illness, slow or old age, and you just give out, or you're violently taken from this planet or from this world, that energy goes somewhere.
Yes.
You know? Okay. Now here's something. Okay, this might be a little bit too heavy, but I want to figure this out here. Okay. For instance, I believe in reincarnation.
Yep.
I believe in reincarnation. What I don't understand, okay, and maybe you can answer this because there's old souls and new souls.
Yep.
So I've always been told I'm an old soul. You know, I've been around the block a few times. Now, hush. So anyway, the soccer tournament in Uruguay does not count. Anyway, the
whole team
thing is, so what I'm saying is, it's like, for instance, okay, the world keeps growing in population.
Right.
Now, I hope I say this right without coming across as stupid, but the new souls, I mean, you look at these people in other countries, these third world countries, and there's millions of people being born, and a lot of them are not educated. A lot of them are not bright. They live in poverty. Now, but some of them crawl out of that and become something.
Right.
You know, then there's people like myself who I probably have been around a few times. So do these new souls that are created, I guess that's something the universe, or God, does to create these new souls.
Yep.
You know, because how many more souls can he keep making when we're going to run out of space here on this planet?
Well, that's actually an awesome question. I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine about this. So a couple of ways that you can tell if you're an old soul or new soul. If you're old enough to remember 9/11, 9/11 was horrific.
Right.
Okay. And there's two ways that you could react to 9/11 on the day of that actual event. One is, oh my goodness, I hope everyone's okay. I'm really sorry about who's died, da, 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 da. One. Second is, oh my God, the world's ending, the sky's falling, da, 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 da. So the first one is, you're an old soul, because you know your soul has seen tragedy, great significant tragedy. It has seen war, it has seen strife, it has seen struggle before. Whereas the new soul, who hasn't had that much experience, feels like, oh my gosh, this is where it all ends. Another, and I, FYI, I'm an old soul if you haven't picked that up yet. Another way of young soul versus old soul is patience. I have absolutely no freaking patience for certain people. Because as an old soul, you're like, come on, speed up, get on with it. Where there's this huge, massive download of new souls coming into this earth, as you said. This is why, though, that we are having so much awareness about Black Lives Matter, hate, ending of wars, all those kinds of traumatic events that have been going on in the past 10-ish years, is because these old souls are going, wait a second, we can't do this like this anymore. They're part of the correction, even though they're still stumbling, they're still trying to learn how to walk, and they're walking in front of me and I'm trying to get out of there, you know? So
it's almost like a spiritual generation gap.
Absolutely. Because there's going to be this huge exodus of old souls that are saying, you know what? Lives are wrapped up. I've come down. I've learned everything that my spirit, my soul wanted to learn. And I'm going to stay over there. I'm going to decide to help these younger ones gain human knowledge so that I can guide them from the other side better. So there is definitely this huge amount of new souls coming to this world, and they're stumbling, they're fumbling, they're making lots of mistakes. They're entitled because they just don't understand the rhythm and the flow of energy.
Okay. Right. So you think, this is just me asking a crazy question.
Yeah.
So it's like, when you look up into the sky, you know, there is no such thing as heaven with a bunch of clouds and we sit up there and look down at people. No. But we are in this mass universe. I mean, you look up and it's like infinity. There's stars and suns. I mean, it just goes on. And it's like, it makes you wonder if there's another place where the old souls get to go. And I
Well,
don't know.
there's
That's like it's almost like the question of life.
yeah, well, there is many levels to the other side.
That's what I so
For
there are.
example,
Okay.
yeah, well, when we see ghosts, when we see an apparition, it's because they're typically on the lower level of the spectrum of levels. So they're basically, let's call it like we have our ground, and 3 feet above our ground is that first level. So therefore, that's why many people think that they see ghosts floating. They're not floating.
That's
They're
true.
walking
Right.
on their level, but for us they're floating. And so there's many spectrums that we can all exist on in the spirit world. And I think one person described it once with a near death experience, that it's like going to like ancient Greece but polished, marble, big huge columns, massive rooms. Now I'm not too sure about that, because for me, we all go back to energy form.
Right.
We choose to put a face on so that we can connect with loved ones. Like, for example, when I'm doing my mediumship, I'll be like, oh, the person that looks like so and so, or the person that died this way, is
Mhm.
because they're showing me their physicalness so that it can have validation for the person I'm reading for. Other times, though, I can still read them if they just decide to stay energy, and I'll tell them that. Just FYI, your
Right.
grandfather isn't coming through as how he looked, but he is energy, and this is what he's saying, and the message will make sense to the person.
Interesting. So basically, there's different levels of things.
Yep.
I was reading your phenomena experiences, and I was trying to pronounce them right. Like
Clairsentient.
clairsentience, clairvoyance. I get that one.
Yep.
Clairaudience,
Yep.
claircognizance, clairsent. I think I wear that on Fridays when I go out.
Yeah.
I'll say, hold
Yes,
on.
you are, Richard, by the way.
I'm pretty sure I'm an also. And do they ascend at different levels as time goes on, or can they choose which levels to exist on?
Yes, they do ascend. Okay, so here's the thing.
Free will? Does free will exist in the spirit world?
Free will, not as free will as we know it here.
Right.
So with the level that, so for example, sometimes people will come to me. My mom's passed away. She was my best friend. I can't pick her up. I can't sense her. She doesn't give me messages.
Right.
It's because your mom, that mother's spirit, hasn't learned to communicate that way on the spirit world. So, and don't forget, and people may not know this, and people may know this, Earth is like boarding school.
Right.
Souls come down, they need to learn. When they are finished their learning, they graduate, dying, and then go back home to take back that knowledge into the spirit world. They record it in the Ashtic records so that other spirits can read and grow and learn as well. So spirit world does evolve.
Okay. Go ahead. Keep going.
And with the evolving, they can ascend to wherever they want. And sometimes spirit in their energy form can say, I love being a farmer so much, I'm going to farm on the other side. And they farm.
It's scary to make me think that Farmville exists on the other side.
Not today.
I'm just kidding. But no, okay. So what you're saying, when you're ready or whatever. But I mean, some people are here for reasons. I keep hearing. I've been told this many times. You're here for a reason, Michael Arrington, Esther Goldberg. You are here. That you tried to. I tried to leave on my own a couple of times, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
And the world said, no, you're not going to commit suicide and you're not leaving here. And then last year when I had COVID and I was this close and I died for 30 seconds and saw the white light, that just, all these things, it's like, I guess am I here to do a message? Am I here to help people? Am I here to send something? It's like I feel innately that for some reason the universe wants to use me for something, and I haven't quite figured it out yet. Maybe just to make people smile, maybe to make them laugh and forget about shit for a while. So some people are here. You look at Clint Eastwood, 91 years old. The man
Still
directed
makes movies and directors. Yeah.
and starred. He directed and starred in the film.
Yep.
You look at these people like that. Like it's like most people in show business we don't retire. We just keep going till
No.
we drop dead. But so you think that some people are here for a particular reason?
We're all here for a reason.
Right.
But not everyone's meant to have a grandiose life. I mean, it's like that thing where it's like when someone from the Western world talks about someone from Uganda, for example, like they don't know what they're missing. They don't have TVs. I'm like, well, if they never had a TV, then they don't know what they're missing anyway. And
Right.
they probably have a better quality of life because they have to connect heart to heart, soul to soul.
Right.
And so aloha. And finding what your soul purpose is doesn't need to be revealed until your very last breath, and it's almost like a moment of just clarity of like going, I am good to go.
Yeah.
And so what we are put on this earth for is basically learn how to love ourselves,
Love ourselves, right.
our others, and to be present and not worry so much about, am I checking off all the boxes? Because here's my belief, and this is how I live my life. And this isn't a secret by any means. This is how I just decided to live my life.
Right.
If it's meant to be, it won't pass me by. So therefore, I'm not looking underneath every single granular of sand on this earth going, oh, is this for me? Oh, should I be doing this? No, I have made the intention that if I'm supposed to deal, or if I'm supposed to learn, or if I'm supposed to explore, it is going to be popped in front of me, and I'm going to do what I can in the best of my abilities to make this successful.
And that is also part of free will on your part.
And that's all part of free will. Right.
It's the whole thing. I've talked to so many of my incredible psychic friends, and it's like, you will be the first to tell people, when you go, oh yeah, I see you, you have you're going to come into money. There's things happening. You're going to be very successful. What people don't understand is a lot of people, and I feel like with having all you incredible people on my show, it's like I get to let these people understand more how it works when you get a reading,
right.
Because there's no time stamp. And I remember my friend Bet, you never met her, and she died.
Yeah, I know about it, Bet.
Yeah. And she used to come to Allie all the time and say things. And I still have her driver's license here in my desk. Bet's in Chicago. But I just remember her going, it's not, when we say things, it doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. And so many people go and they get readings and they don't understand that we have the $1 million isn't going to pop into your bank account.
No, you got to work your ass off.
No, you got to work your ass off. But
but
the universe, by putting that energy out there, you are allowing the gifts to come to you.
Absolutely.
You have to go, okay, I'm going to do, for instance, like, what I do in my wacky ass life. I just worked on a project. I worked on a project that I can't talk about yet. But the thing is, the energy that I put out in my building to the person who was the director producer, all of a sudden
connected the dots.
And so we just got to learn that it's information that you are given, in precious information, to help you change your life or to change the direction that you're going in. And you have to treat it like a book, put it on the shelf behind you. Right. And when the time comes down, oh, wait a minute. And then you bring that book down and go, or you use it as a reference when you see what you did, Now with you do past life regressions, right? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
And I'm sitting. What is that? Is that one of those Clairvoyant things?
So
sorry.
So with what I do with past life regressions is that I regress the person. So they're not hypnotized. They're not going to cluck like a chicken afterwards or anything else like that, but they're relaxed. And I'm able to direct their attention and focus to go beyond the veil of the present and go into a different time, on a different earth time. And by me asking specific questions towards that, they actually answer a lot of questions that would make sense in their current life.
Uh-huh.
And like, for example, one time there was this woman that came to me, and she was getting stuck because one of the questions I ask is, what is on your feet?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, it's scales. They're fish scales. I'm like, and she wanted to stop, and I'm like, please continue.
Right.
And so, long story short, is that she went so far back that she actually went into another dimension of reality and time of another life form.
Wow.
Because Earth is not just the only Earth,
Right.
or the only form of life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but the lesson that she had to learn in that life, she realized that it was happening in her current life.
Wow. Interesting.
And so past life regression basically completes the circle.
Okay. Karma.
Yep.
Here's karma.
Karma. Okay, so I understand why people say karma is a bitch, but karma is beautiful, and it's always beautiful.
Right.
And it's like, and I hate this when people have to say they're sorry for over and over and over and over again. If you're saying sorry over and over and over again, that means that you are not editing yourself, that you are not more aware of your surroundings. If you have to constantly say you're sorry, that means that you're constantly screwing up. And so
I have some friends, well, acquaintances, and they go, I'm sorry. I'm good. Don't say you're sorry.
don't say you're sorry. Just correct the action.
Right.
And you will start to learn to be present that way. So karma comes into play when you're here and
Right.
your focus is here, and you're adamant about being here.
Right.
But karma's like, no, you need to be over here, because here's the better experience.
Right.
And so you're going to be stubborn, and you're going to want to stay there because you think this is where it should be.
Right.
So karma's going to smack your ass. It's going to smack you upside the head until you submit and go to where karma wants you to be.
So there's good karma and bad karma.
Right.
So when you do crappy things, that's bad karma. Or you do crappy things to other people.
Right.
That karma payback, as they call it, is
payback. And what I plant great karma seeds, harvest. That's right, Abby.
There it is. Harvest is awesome.
So if your intention is to put good out no matter where you are, and that doesn't mean you have to, give money to everyone or pet every dog or anything like that. But when you are in tune to where your higher self needs to be over where your ego thinks you should be, you're always going to have good karma. Now, of course, you're always going to have lessons to learn.
Right.
And lessons we learn in probably more negative ways, because that's how we remember the scars on our knees from falling down.
Right. Of course.
You
learn for that.
Exactly.
What did Richard say here? I'm hoping this is my last. I'm looking forward to going through the small door and having my soul exploded and used to seed future souls.
Richard, you have one more.
Yeah. There you go.
But Richard, you're also that life is going to be more like a wrap-up life, so it'll probably be more insignificant for you, but yet significant for the people that you're touching in that life. So don't worry about it.
Okay, it's just a wacky psychic question. Okay. This is crazy. I've never asked you this, and I've actually never asked another psychic this, since we're talking about these spirits and lives and karma and everything. I am an actor.
Yeah.
My real name is Michael Arrington, as everybody knows. And that's, it's me there, and I play Paul Lynn and do these other things. But it's almost like I have this character here that is so strong that the character of Esther overpowers everything sometimes. Right. However, I remember you specifically telling me, no, you have to be the star, Michael, and Esther is part of your entourage. And then Sloan Bella had said to me a few months back, she goes, you have to do your YouTube channel, and you can be Esther one day and you can be Michael the next.
Exactly.
And I started doing that, and I started looking at the numbers, and just as many people looked at me as Michael as they
Right.
did Esther. But Esther's a fun character that she's funny, and she makes people feel at home. So I guess my question is like, how do I say it? It's almost like, how do I explain that I'm almost two different people coming from the same person, but is it all the same person, just dressed different? Does that make it? Own it, Michael. Tyler Perry owns Medea. Same thing. True. And there was you're right, Georgia. And there was a whole thing that happened, where I got lost in Esther. I got lost in Paul Lynde.
Yep.
And I realized I had to bring it out,
away.
and so, that's what I've been doing. But anyway.
Right. So part of you being an actor as Michael, you're so used to being in character.
Right.
That you forget sometimes that Michael is just as funny.
Right.
Michael is just as entertaining. Michael has better stories.
Of course, because there's a real.
Right.
And so I've shared that with people.
Mhm.
And when we've done I think you've tuned in. I didn't know you were tuning in, but I know that you were. Oh, by the way, I play with my crystal.
Oh, good.
I have a little crystal here. I bought it.
Quartz crystal. Yeah.
It's great. I just keep it here. It's just, I have to fondle something. And so I'm fondling this.
Just the right size.
No, it's been something. The whole Vegas, you have been with me, Lewis, through all of this craziness. And so you have seen the nutty people I've had to associate with in this town. But it's like, I guess one of the things I'm becoming as a spirit, and I'm using this as we're talking about growth and going to a different spiritual platform. It's like, I don't color my hair anymore. I stopped doing Botox. I stopped doing all of those things. And I did it for vanity in the beginning, but then I went during COVID, I'm going, so I don't need to do this anymore.
No.
You don't like me because I have a few wrinkles, or you don't like me because I'm all, in my late 50s. Anybody fucking can figure out how old I am if you just go to the goddamn newspaper and clippings and you'll figure it all out. But what I'm saying is I don't lie about it anymore. There's an age, the agents say I am, because I'm very fortunate to be able to not look my age.
Right.
And I truly believe that a lot of your spirit and karma and everything is up here. We're conditioned by human marketing to retire and be old.
Yes.
We don't have to be that way, and yes, you're right. You're right. Esther says things that Michael cannot. And it's true. She's like
and vice versa, though.
Right.
Michael,
but she doesn't. Yeah.
Right. And Michael, I feel like with Michael's learned over the last few years that he doesn't need to play the character.
No, not at all.
And, and so not that you ever were not authentic, you always were authentic, but for that piece of it, it's what you're learning is to become more comfortable with
who I am, right?
Who you are. And Esther is just part of.
She's an extension of my insanity.
She's one of your branches off of your tree.
Right. Well, working with one of the things that we're doing is I'm working on this new one-man show where it's the story of my life, and as crazy as it is. And I don't plan on dressing up as Esther or dressing up as Paul Lynde, but I will put on the glasses when I become Esther, and I'll put on the necklace that Paul Lynde wore, stuff like that. And I'll tell the story, sort of like what John Leguizamo does. It's almost the healing power of the show must go on is what we're going to do. But I mean, it's just part of my spiritual journey. And like I said, it's taken a long time. The universe wasn't ready for me to freaking leave here yet.
No, you weren't ready. You had to align yourself to get to this point where all these things are bursting open for you again. Because if you wanted to go back to LA, this would never happen.
Well, 15. Okay, we had this thing the other day. 15 years. Dore was going. 15 years. You're out of your 15-year cycle. Yours was a little bit longer than others.
Yours is longer than normal.
They said Lucifer has left the building.
Yes.
Focus, focus, focus. You don't have a love life right now. You'll still have fun, but you don't. You have to focus, focus, focus. But let me go back to the question, not about me, but about everyone else. has COVID, we know COVID has helped contribute to a lot of mental illness with people being cooped up and whatever, but has COVID also given people a new lease on their lives to reevaluate, you feel?
For the majority of the population, I know this is going to be unpopular, but COVID needed to happen.
I get it.
Because we were moving forward in the wrong direction for such a long time.
Right.
And COVID's kind of like Mercury Retrograde just for 2.5 years.
Where and it ain't done yet.
And it isn't done yet. You know, like Canada, we're in the 4th wave because there's this new Delta variant again.
Oh, so you guys get the Delta variant now.
Right. And that's what most of the people that are getting COVID are getting is the variants. But with COVID, it made us connect to people in different ways because we were getting out of hand with social media. We're getting out of hand with texting. How are you? You know, and so it made us crave for human connection, for soul, heart to heart connection again. And it's also allowed us to stop taking everything for granted. I mean, look at the times when we couldn't go to the restaurants and with our friends. You know, we took it for, it was rough. And when we did, we made sure that we were able to have more in fulfillment, enjoyment with that connection piece. Mm-hmm. So COVID was kind of necessary on that level, not on the level of having lives lost and all that sort of thing. But again, here's the thing, that was part of that person's soul contract. I know a lot of that will not make sense.
Right.
But we do get signed up for certain people in this world do get signed up saying, I'm going to be shot. I'm going to be murdered. I'm going to be molested. It's because the human us, because of our emotional is like, how could we do that? But the soul, when you're mapping out your life as a soul, right, it doesn't have human emotions. It's like, what do I need to learn? And how do I need to learn it by?
Because your words are powerful. It's like,
exactly.
Whenever I guess I'm going to spend the rest of my life alone, and Dore will go, shut the fuck up, Mike.
Shut up, because be careful what you wish for. You just might get it.
You just might get it. Hold on. There was something you just had. Is it true whatever culture you're attracted to in this life is one of the lives you've already lived?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, typically we tend to stay one sex predominantly over the other, male, female kind of thing. And again, new souls are like, why are we defined by male, female? Let's be trans. Let's be non-binary. That's part of this new growth. So for example, when very first time I was in London, England, I got off the tube station in Piccadilly Circus, and within 10 minutes, someone came up to me and asked me where a guitar shop was. And I'm like, my ego, human self goes, I don't know. Right. But what came out of my mouth was something different. You go down that street and then you turn left and you'll see it on the corner.
I would have said, do I look like Eric?
I do look English.
Right.
I followed I followed what I gave him. Mm-hmm. There was a guitar. There was a guitar shop. So yes, if you are attracted to a culture, it's because you've had at least one life.
Billy, we give our condolences to you.
Our condolences, Billy.
But Billy mentioned something here that his brother took his life last week. Do you think it was probably because of the pandemic and whatever? We don't have time to get into that, but wow. When somebody does something like that, I'm not one to ignore, but if there's anything I could do, I just give you my condolences.
Right. Yeah. And absolutely. And you have to look to see what kind of. Because there's two things with suicide really quickly. So there's intentional suicide that's written into your life chart. And that's actually how that soul learns everything and graduates. And it's like, I don't need to be here anymore. And also suicide sometimes with that perspective is about the other people living to learn about it, to learn something in their life. There's another suicide that is like, I put too much things into the life to learn. I can't do it anymore. I need to abort the mission. I need to redo the contract for the life and come right back down. Wow. Billy, I can tell you right now, your brother is fine. There's no no worries about him having to come back down. And yes, depression is often like we have to have a reason to do suicide.
Right.
And so the human emotion, depression, guilt, alcoholism, drug addiction, whatever, is the catalyst to make that happen. But yet the soul still learns what it needs to learn.
Yeah. See, Billy, there's a reason why you popped in today, and you just needed to know your brother's okay. He's okay on the other side. You know, depression is a shitty thing. I'm just loving Georgia over in Greece. What the hell is she?
I love Georgia.
That, Esther. They say I was an ancient Greek philosopher.
Hypatia.
That's so cool. Wow. So you know what? How you doing? You want to stay for a few more minutes?
Let's do it.
I'm still back up on these clariticians.
It does give you a description of what they mean.
I know, but I'd like to fucking pronounce it right. Clairsentient, which means clear feeling, the ability to feel past, present, and future emotional states of other things, not beings, to perceive by feeling within the whole body. Okay, so explain that. What is that? Is this when you're reading someone? So that you
it's not just about reading someone. A lot of people are like that. It's kind of like when you ask someone how they are, how are you doing? And they say, I'm fine. And you're like, bullshit. Because you just know there's something wrong.
Right.
That's that. So absolutely, it helps me, especially when I have to go into someone's past to figure out what needs to happen now so that they can get on the right path for their future.
Right.
And it's the bullshit meter, is what I call it. So if you're trying to fool someone, that's clairsentient.
It's sort of gaslighting on a spiritual level.
Exactly.
It's what it is. Let's see. A bunch of people just came in. Thank you, Sloan, for sending a bunch of these people over. Because guess what? The wonderful thing about this channel is Sloan is very giving, and you actually read for her, and you did a reading. Because one of the things people don't understand is gifted people like Lewis and like Sloan and like Corby and the rest. Sometimes they don't have the ability to feel their own. To see their own, to have their own guidance.
This isn't my ability. I mean, I'm the vessel. But I mean, if I could read myself, then I'd be in the south of France with $10 billion and living a high life.
Right.
But I'm still human. So I have to fall down. I still have to be curious. I still need to get up in the morning and do my best job. Right. So, you know, good, authentic psychics, mediums,
right,
clairvoyants, whatever, they can't read themselves.
So Tiffany,
now, intuitive.
Okay, go ahead.
She's definitely.
I'm just saying, Tiffany Sanchez, Julie Thierry, and Deidre Nasty, thank you so much, because I just want to acknowledge that you're here, because we appreciate all these new people.
We do. I appreciate. This is like I'm opening up my world to a bunch of new people, and
that's what it was all about, and that's why we're doing this, and that way you guys can, as with this show. If you look on the YouTube recording, or even just look on the YouTube profile of this show, you'll see every way to get a hold of Lewis. You can get a reading. He does the Skype stuff. It's just amazing. Now, I interrupted you because I just like that. I don't want people to feel like we're not paying attention.
No, exactly. And I can read the comments just like you are, and I'm loving the comments, and I'm loving that they're having these little conversations, mini conversations within, and saying hi to each other and high-fiving everyone. So I love that.
Right.
That's part of the soul connection. That's part of.
Yes. And that's what, Lewis is going to start doing these YouTube. You're going to start doing this as well. I'm like the Pied Piper for psychics. I got a deer.
That's right.
A deer to do it, and Corby's setting herself up. It's just an incredible way, because I think people just want answers. They just want either answers or a little bit of guidance,
direction.
A little bit of direction. So if somebody has a reading, I was like, it says what to expect if someone comes in to get a reading. What is it? What do they expect? What do you expect? What should they expect?
So anyone that knows me about readings is that I am truthful. I'm not going to give you what you want to hear. I'm going to give you what you need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's very raw. I tried to deliver it in some sort of humorous or funny way. I also have to make sure that the person I'm reading for is not taking everything literally, because if they're looking, if going back to the money thing, if I say to someone, oh, you're going to be coming into some money, they'll just sit back and do nothing.
Right.
So if I know that that's a kind of person, I go into specific detail about, go to the blue house, turn left, go 2.3 miles, then at the white picket fence, turn upside down. And then that's what, because I'm trying to get them to go into their action so that they get to where they need to go.
Right.
And I cover everything. Anyone that's had a reading with me, I see everything, including things behind the bedroom door. Well, yours is moldy right now, but
there's nothing happened in my bedroom. It's
right.
Like if it was the ocean, it would be called the Dead Sea.
It would be the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Thank you.
And so no topic is off limit. And it's a conversation with me doing most of the conversation.
Right.
But it's about interacting. It's about, like sometimes I'll be like, there's a person, Can I get your oldest child's first name? As soon as they say their name, it's an energy around their name, and I'm able to go boop, 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 and talk about everything about that child or a person or whomever they are in their life. Wow. So it goes into anything. Like nothing is off limits.
I'm telling you. No, it's great. So Lewis, we've done over an hour. The only other person that's done over an hour is Crazy Sloan, and we love her to death. I think Sloan and I are going to do lunch at City Walk in Studio City.
Oh yeah, because you're going to LA soon.
And Marla Fries. Do you know Marla Fries?
Yep.
She's sending me her book, American Psychic,
and
she's going to come on the show. And she's just Marla. I don't know if I was having lunch at City Walk, which is this great little Asian place in Studio City, California, and like Miley Cyrus. I mean, all the big
they're all there. Like, they just walk down that little,
People have no idea that there's all these celebrities sitting there eating, because they eat like everybody else.
Right. And it's close to Warner Brothers. So
yeah, and Universal, both of those places.
Yeah.
But because I was having dinner with my friends from Washington. And she was the one that walked up and said, your dog wants you to stop feeding him the CBD oil. And I was like, and I'm standing there, excuse me? And she goes, and she looked at Champers and she goes, he wants me to tell you to stop giving him the CBD. And I was giving it to him so he would calm down, and not be stressed. And I said, for real? She goes, yep. And I stopped and he completely changed.
Yep.
She talked to my dog. She just I guess she was able to subliminally do it or whatever.
I had to talk to a dead horse for half an hour once, because this woman who owned him had to put him down and had such guilt. And she had no family. She had no siblings. She had no parents. She had no close relatives. Her horse was her entire life. Wow. And so I had to connect with the horse. So I also do speak to animals or communicate with animals, I guess.
Wow. Do you ever have people that call? Do you ever have clients that have animals and they want you to help them with them?
Yep. Oh, I can't tell you how many times in a reading that people like, what about my dog? Or what about my cat? Or what about, they bring their animals in their family. So,
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Someone said Facebook is back, but it ain't loading. It's twirling. Let's do it. Oh, yep. Facebook is back, people.
Yay,
yay. Like I care. Lewis, this was fun. Are you going to come back on again and sometime?
Absolutely. Let's do it soon.
And so how do they book you right now? Can they just go to lewismabee.com?
lewismabee.com. You can use my online concierge booking service. It's right on the main page, halfway down. And you can obviously follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I don't do much with Twitter, so Instagram and Facebook. And look for my YouTube channel because it's gonna be having a lot more content.
Right, and we'll put Lewis's YouTube channel up eventually when he has it ready to go. If it's probably already linked to what we're doing. But if you
I think
look
so.
at this show, and I guess since Facebook is up, you'll probably see it again, but you can get all the information to get a hold of the fabulous Lewis Mabee. Lewis, thank you so much. This was
Thank
fun.
you.
I'm so excited. When are you coming to California and Vegas again?
As soon as I can.
Is that
Hope-
still? Are they still keeping you coming in?
It's weird with the borders. I mean, we can do
Well,
it,
that
but
witch comes, the one that
I
takes
know.
my
I know, Karen.
Canadian
Canadian Karen.
Karen, but they fly in. I guess you can fly.
You can fly in and drive in, but I usually drive in and then head southwest with the airline. So
Well,
yeah,
to everybody that tuned in today, all the new people
Thank you.
who just met Lewis from, God, you were in New Zealand, Greece, Canada. God, there was some other place I can't remember, but it was fun. This is Esther Goldberg, and you've been watching That's Estertainment. Spread the love, spread the word, and remember, free will. Free will.
Free will.
That's what can change your life. You
Absolutely.
control it. They can just help guide you with the guiding voice. See you all next time.
Bye.
And I have to find the damn switch here to